This MMA 30 segment is powered by The Gun Store. Next time you're in Las Vegas, if you want to shoot a real machine gun, do it at The Gun Store at 2900 East Tropicana.
Every guy gets tested on The Ultimate Fighter. You think these guys that are living in the house right now, first of all, all of them tested negative for any type of performance-enhancing drug or any other kind of drug, and full background checks to get into The Ultimate Fighter, which has been that way since day one. And because we do all these full medicals on these guys, you know, we found some things with guys, you know, brain aneurysms and things that guys didn't know about because they were fighting these smaller shows that don't spend the money to give them the proper medicals. But the other thing is, you know, whether you live in the house for 6 weeks or now 13 weeks, you're not doing shit. You know, you've already tested negative, and you're not using anything while you're in there. So you end up winning the Ultimate Fighter based on your talent, your skills, conditioning, etc. So that, and now we don't sign guys to contracts without drug testing them first. We do more, and the Athletic Commission does more than any other sport on this planet. I don't know how many more times I can say that.
Is it accurate though? I mean, Major League Baseball has random testing in the season that they conduct. You guys have 4 times. 4 times.
Test them every time they perform. Test them every time they run out in the field. So randomly test guys every time they run out in the field. NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, test them. Well, I'd love to see that happen.
I guess
you have guys getting popped fucking left and right.
I'm not arguing, although they get tested in season, but Ryan Braun got tested in the freaking playoffs. Okay, so I mean that happened in the playoffs. But I guess my question is, and the fight game is a different business, so your answer is a little disingenuous from the standpoint that if you say that, you know, we're doing more, they know when their fights are, and you can cycle on and off, and so you theoretically, I could be taking steroids and then cycle off before I go into training camp and have the benefit of it, and then, you know, I
put it this way, Kevin. We got 375 guys in the contract, right? We're doing a zillion fights a year, right? We're traveling all over the world, we're doing all these other things we're doing. Now, you really think that we can crack down and just fucking chase these guys around everywhere they live all over the world and just randomly test these guys all the time? And on top of all the other things we're doing. I mean, you have to really sit back and you have to think, you know, you have to use a little bit of reality and a little bit, come on.
Well, can I respond to that?
Yeah,
I guess the response would be, I understand the difficulty in it, but let's play the worst case scenario that Fighter A, you know, is on steroids and seriously injures, or worse, Fighter B, and it comes out that Fighter A was on steroids, then all the work that you've done, doesn't that bring it down?
These guys are being tested, and now the Athletic Commission, for instance, when you look at a guy like Overeem's never been positive for anything. They pre-tested him before he fought last time. Pre-tested the guy. The guy's never tested positive for anything, right? But you look at the guy and you're like, damn, this guy's a lot bigger than he was when he was a... They're pre-testing him, and he was negative. And then they tested again after the fight. They pre-tested Nick Diaz for marijuana before the fight, and then tested him after the fight. And the list goes on and on. Not just these guys. They busted Nate Marquardt before the fight. Nate Marquardt's out the day of the fight. So come on. Let's be realistic. It's fun to go, yeah, you're gonna fucking... It's unrealistic for me to chase these fucking guys all over the world and test them for marijuana, cocaine, steroids. I want to see fucking baseball and football and all these other guys get tested the way we get tested. There'd be no football, baseball, or anything else if they got tested the way we get tested.
So you think the Athletic Commission should test across the board, every sport, every state, exactly the same?
Well, that's, I mean... Listen, I don't want to throw this fucking thing at everybody else, but my point is, we're the most regulated sport on the planet. And that's a fact. Fact. And if you look at it, we're regulated by the government and they do this stuff. We actually go out and do stuff too. And I'll give you another, it's not out yet. When this thing comes out, you guys will know. Something else we're doing too. You know, I mean, there isn't a sport out there that keeps going above and beyond, whether it's the safety of the athletes, testing for all this crazy shit, and the list goes on and on. We do a lot. and we're so fucking busy, man, and all the things that we got going on. I mean, I sat yesterday, we're not flying right now, so what we do is we sit in a fucking room all day in meetings, hammering out all this shit that needs to be done. And then I go on the road for like the last road trip that I was on. This is the biggest break I'm gonna have this year. And then that's it. My fucking life is over. It's over. And then you're trying to play catch up on all the shit that we didn't meet on, and it's crazy. It's insane. Fucking head's about to explode. And then we sit there, we're talking about how much more we could possibly test these guys and do more than we could do. And we're already the most regulated sport on earth. I'm done. What else? Next question.
There was a column, I forget who wrote it, maybe you can remind me, Steve or John, but criticizing you for the suing the fans. You know, they were stealing the thing. I forget who.
Have you ever seen my response?
Ben Folks. Yeah, Ben Folks wrote that. I didn't, you know, see your response. So
no, on Twitter, I respond to people every day on Twitter. It's like, fuck you, you criminal. Yeah, we're coming after you. You know? Oh, boo-hoo, you're going after the fans for man, you're fucking stealing. You know, and I love when the people on the internet and stuff say, oh yeah, you know what, I'd really love to see, I saw somebody writing something like, I'd really love to see a guy who they actually busted. I literally got a guy who follows me on Twitter, okay? He's from Canada. His bar got busted for stealing it. And he sent me a message and said, Dana, I got busted for stealing your pay-per-view. Could you please contact me? Right? So I follow the guy, and he DMs me, and he says, I have a bar up here in Canada. We got busted for using your stuff. The lawsuit that you guys are coming after me for will destroy me. I'll be done. Me and a couple partners just said, is there anything you can do? I fucking hit the guy back. I had our lawyers call him, and we went easy on it. He hit me back and said, dude, I'm buying this shit for real for the next 2 years. I appreciate it and everything else. But people don't think it's real. Like we're creating this smoke and mirrors thing like we're not really. Dude, people are getting busted, and it's real. And the bottom line is the same fucking guys that are saying, why would you sue the fans, are the same guys that are going, you should pay the fighters more. You know what I mean? How the fuck do you think this thing works? You know what I mean? You think the Fertittas just pull all the money out of their fucking bank and pay everybody? No, this is a real business. It's no difference. You know, there's this whole generation out there that grew up getting free shit on the internet. So they think everything on the internet should be free. That ain't how it fucking works.
Have you had, you know, or do you have anybody like the music industry has a big issue with that, and they still do, and they were suing people that were downloading from Napster and all those other things?
The music industry was single-handedly destroyed by the internet. The internet destroyed the music business. They'll tell you that. It's a fact.
But then iTunes kind of turned it around, right?
I mean, you go from, you know, having all these music outlets. I mean, it's not too long ago, guys. I mean, what was it, 5 years ago? If you wanted to listen to it, you'd have to go buy the CD. You know, the iPad and all these things have only been out for a little while. So when you think about it, all these stores existed throughout the country where you would go and you would buy their CD, you know, and all this other shit. Now you're buying songs for 99 cents. Woohoo! I mean, that's not good. It's not good for the music industry. It's better now that you can go on iTunes and buy some shit, but they were stealing things for years.
Well, I guess
single-handedly, all these businesses went out of business.
I'm on your side on that issue, so I'm not arguing with you, but I guess the point I was getting to with the iTunes example is that actually it's better for the music industry that came along, because now their levels are higher what people are purchasing when you make it easier on them, as opposed to.
But there's been a gap. There's been a gap for, I don't know what the exact amount of years is, 6, 7 years, where they got nothing. People were just stealing.
Well, but iTunes came, came along in 03, the iTunes store in 03. So I guess I was going to say, you know, have you ever considered some kind of yearly subscription model where people can say, I'm going to pay X amount, like the NFL does with their Sunday ticket, and buy the UFC for 2013?
Well, we just did do that. We just did a deal where we could buy a package of fights. There's 3 or 4 fights in a row. We did that. And we've been working on that for a long time. You know what's funny too is that it's like, you know, fans go, you should do this, you should do that. How come it's not on TV and you don't give a shit about the UK? Oh, yeah, we don't care. We don't give a shit. Yeah, we don't want a major television deal in the UK, and we don't want to give you guys our product. You out of your fucking minds? I mean, yes, we're trying to get a fucking deal in the UK. We weren't able to get one. We're still working on the UK. They act like you're fucking the fans in the UK. You don't want to do. I mean, come on. Yeah, I'd love to do a deal where we set up and people can buy, you know, the package like the NFL. We got to get this deal done. It's not like we just go, hey, guess what, DirecTV? We got a great idea.
Well, have you had that though?
Yeah,
I mean, have you had those conversations?
Yeah. You got to get these things done.
No, I understand. But have you had those conversations?
Absolutely, yeah. We did it. We just did it. Yeah, like a few months ago. Anybody know?
Yeah, it was like buy 3, get 4.
Yeah, exactly. It was some deal where you could buy a package. Yeah, we try to do things like that all the time. There isn't a sports organization that's more fan-friendly than we are. We try to do as much as we can for the fans. You know, and then you got these guys out there saying they think it's okay to steal our shit on the internet. Fuck you. It's not okay. And yes, I'm coming after you. And yes, we will fucking sue you. One guy came to me and said, listen, I'm sorry, man, I fucked up and whatever. I said, no problem. Here's what, you know, I had the attorneys call him and work something out with him. But for the dummies on the internet that don't think it's real, trust me, it's real. And we'll get you. When we were talking about iTunes and all these, everything changes. I mean, if you just look at the introduction of the iPad, how much everything has changed in, what was it, 24 months, something like that. The iPad came out like 24 fucking months ago. And now you start thinking, God, what was it like before the iPad? That shit just keeps, in the next 24 months, where are we going to be? It all keeps changing, and you know, we try to stay on top of all the new things that are happening and delivering the product as many different ways as we can. But stealing it is not an option. If you steal our shit, we're going to get you. You know, we might not get you now or next month, but eventually we will. And we're spending a lot of money toward, you know, busting people who steal.
This MMA 30 segment is powered by The Gun Store. Next time you're in Las Vegas, if you want to shoot a real machine gun, do it at The Gun Store at 2900 East Tropicana.